Hello everyone, welcome back. So we're now moving into chapter 12, and this one's going with refrigeration cycles, and it is completely different than what we've covered so far. So, in the past we had, we're producing power. And so if I was looking at it before, drop my pen, it was going this way. Power was going out of our system. However, now we're doing the opposite. We are going to use power to move heat from a cold environment to a hot environment. That can't happen naturally, and so we have to use power to do that. And so we do that through a refrigerator or a heat pump. These are things you're going to probably see in your houses. Refrigerator, I'm simply taking energy from a low temperature space, putting it into a high temperature one. What I care about is how much energy is leaving the low temperature space. Heat pump does the exact same thing. Energy from a low temperature space to a high temperature space. But in this case, I care about how much heat I'm putting into that high temperature space because I'm usually using it to heat my house. Though, if I'm cooling my house, it's acting effectively like a refrigerator. And as you've seen in the past, they have their own different coefficient performance. Either how much cooling they're doing or how much heating they're doing over the work input. So, how does this work? Well, it works best, perfectly, amazingly, magically there, on the reverse Carnot cycle. This is it right here. So we have a turbine, a compressor, condenser, and an evaporator. Of these four things, you see three of them actually in your refrigerator. You don't see the fourth, and we'll talk about why later. So if I have the Carnot cycle, I can figure out my perfect, absolutely amazing coefficient performance. I will never reach this, but if I get close, nice. And it's simply going to be based on the temperatures. The difference here is simply based on whether I'm caring about how much heat I am putting into my house or how much heat is leaving my refrigerator. So different requirements there. Now, why don't we actually use this? Because you're like, it's perfect. It's got a great thing. It's a nice little box shape. It's easy to calculate stuff. Just put a turbine on your refrigerator. Well, let's find out. So while it is technically the most efficient refrigeration cycle, it can't work. The reason is because of these two processes, 2 to 3 and 4 to 1. Okay, those just are not possible, or at least not practical. So first off, process 2 to 3. That's when we're compressing a liquid vapor mixture. We've talked about this in the past that we like compressing liquids. We like compressing vapors. We do not like compressing both at the same time, okay? So we need a very expensive compressor that can handle 2 phases. So that's not going to work for us. The second thing is the expansion. So we had a turbine. You're like, couldn't we add a turbine to a refrigerator? We could. It'd be very complicated and expensive, but we could. But the big thing here is I've said in the past that if we're going to be expanding something in a turbine, it needs to be mostly vapor when we expand it. If it has any moisture in there, as in liquid water droplets inside of that vapor, they're like rocks. They're like throwing rocks into your ceiling fan. It's not fun for anyone. It's not fun for the fan. It's just going to break it. So those 2 cycles are going to keep us from being able to use this and make it a practical cycle. So next time we'll go into the ideal refrigeration cycle and talk more about that. And we'll keep on moving towards, more and more realistic cycles as we go. So thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.